everybody, Jen from Scrapping Under the Influence. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. So Tamara has had a lot of requests in scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations about cards and how to do cards and different things like that. So today I'm going to take my Land That I Love value bundle, Doodlebug, that was sent to me as part of my design team package for Country Craft Creations, and we're going to do some cards. So before we get into making the cards themselves, we're just going to do kind of a quick walkthrough on card sizes and what have you. So the most common size is going to be an A2 card. Okay, an A2, the finished size is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So if you have an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, if you cut it in half across the 11-inch side, you're going to have two cards that are 5 1/2 inches wide, which is what I have here. If you cut it lengthwise down the long side, you're going to have two cards that are 4 1/4 wide. Okay. For the longer card, this would be a top folding card, and you would score this one at 5 1/2. For the shorter card, shorter and wider card, you would score that one at 4 1/4. So that's what we've got going here. So when these are scored, so 4 1/4, and then 5 1/2 there. Once those are scored and burnished, you of course can use this one either as top folding or side folding. This one, really you can do the same with this one. I tend to prefer top folding because these are really easy for somebody to stand up like on a mantle or on a desk or something to display. And I think they just, you know, if you're going to have it standing somewhere, I prefer this to this. Okay. The other two types of cards that you see a lot of time here recently are Slimline cards. So there are regular Slimline cards and there are mini Slimline cards. Both of them, the piece of paper you're going to start with is going to be 7 inches wide. Slimline is 8 1/2 inches high. Mini Slimline is 6 1/2. This honestly has become one of my go-to sizes. I absolutely love Slimline cards, the mini Slimline cards. They're just fun. Both of these, you're going to score these at 3 1/2. So let's go ahead and do that on my little samples for you here. Okay. And you would fold that. And fold and burnish. Clearly I did not fold that one right, or I didn't cut it right. So you could have it open this way, you could have it open this way. Same thing with either one of that, so either one of those. So those are the other two sizes that you'll see a lot of times with card makers that they're making. Okay. The other option, and this honestly is one of my favorites and where we are going to start as far as making cards, is the Doodlebug card and envelope assortment packs. Okay. With these, you get 6 cards with 6 matching envelopes. They're all a little bit different. They're all color coordinated to whatever line they happen to be released with. This is the 4th of July assortment. So in this one, we've got a little bitty, what is this, a 3x3? Yep, a 3x3 here with a scalloped edge, which they don't do all the cute little fancy ones like this anymore, which is really sad because I've got a whole stash of them that I have a really hard time parting with. So we've got a 3x3 there. It does come with the envelope. We've got this cute scalloped trifold, and again it comes with the envelope. We've got another trifold that's got a window. Like I said, and this is just this specific package. Other ones are going to be different depending on which mix you have. This is a little bit bigger card. This one is 4 1/2 by 6 1/4. So this one's not quite, is bigger than an A2 card, but not quite as big as like the 5x7 cards. And then we've got 2 A2 size cards in here. Okay. So these are what we're going to start working with. And literally, it can be as simple. I've got everything like kind of cut and stacked over here, so give me 1 second. It can be as simple as adding a cut apart, okay? So in this case, I'm actually going to cut this down. So this particular cut apart sheet was this off of this, is this one out of that Essentials kit. I do want to trim this down. These are normally 2 3/8. I want to take this down to 2 1/8. So I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off each side and 1/8 off the bottom and off the top. Okay. And somehow I'm still slightly off, and I swear to God it's this trimmer. Okay, so that actually ended up with more off of it than I had intended, but that's okay. It will be fine. You know what? Let's actually switch it out to this one, because that did. I'm having a love-hate relationship with literally every trimmer I own right now. I can't even tell you. Okay, so we're gonna take just a sliver off of there. Off of there. And there. Okay, so I took this down to 2 1/4. And then literally all we have to do is pop it up on the front of this card. Okay? So that's the other fun thing about cards. Although, if you are mailing them, you don't want to get super dimensional with them. But if you're not, and you're just like giving it to someone or putting it like with a gift or something, I love to make them very dimensional. That's just, that to me is just really fun, to get a really dimensional card. So all we're doing here is just popping this up on the front, and it can be as easy as that. Okay, now let's look at this one. So this card, we are going to do a little bit differently. Okay, so the front part of this, where the scallop like is deepest right here, is about 2 3/4. Okay, so I have a piece that is 2 1/2 by 5 3/4. The top part of this card is 6 inches. Okay, so I'm going essentially 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this will be about 1/8 of an inch in on each side. Okay. The other thing with cards, very rarely do I use glue. Most of the time I use a tape runner, because it's a card and it will be just fine with the tape runner. Okay. So this one, we're just going to go ahead and put that on there. This piece I am going to trim a tiny bit off of. Okay. And I think I'm going to leave it the width that it was. I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of solid cardstock. Put this down like so. trim that out. And then this one can go on top here. So I am going to put this to one side. I am going to pop it up again. And this is too where you can use gems or enamel dots or what have you that you have on hand. You can add ribbon, you can add twine. There are so many options. Okay. But I am going to grab, sorry, between cutting acrylic and working on other stuff, this room is a straight up disaster. Like, it would be easier to burn it down and start over. Okay, so in the value bundle, we've got doodle quotes, doodle seals, and doodle tags. Okay, so I'm going to use one of these. I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to find my powder tool. I'm going to go ahead and add my pop dots, but not take the backing off, or my foam squares, I guess they are. And then I'll go over it with the power tool, because I want to make sure that my foam dots or my foam squares aren't going to come off. So if we're going sticky to sticky, then we're fine. Okay, so we've got that, and literally there you go. You could add more matting in here if you wanted to. I'm gonna just leave it exactly like that because that's simple, and that's kind of the point we're going for here. Simple cards that are cute. Okay. Oh, I think that was my piece that needed to go here, but that's okay. Bear with me 1 minute. I don't know where I put my piece that goes with this one. That is a very good question. Okay. I think I didn't cut it. I think that's why. Somewhere in the midst of prepping for this, I had to like go make dinner and, you know, the usual things that tend to distract from the crafting, as I'm sure you all are familiar with. Okay. This one is going to be as simple as putting this inside here so it peeks out the window. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, get tape on the back, and depending on how you want your card to open, I think I do want it to open this way. I'm going to line this up in here. And then just drop it down. Okay. Now we've got a this and that sticker sheet, and we can take some of the little elements off of this. I don't want that one. What do I want? I don't know what I want. See, I knew I wasn't totally ready for this. I'm going to use those little bracket pieces. I always forget about the little bracket pieces, and they're so cute. But we are just going to put those on here like so. And then I'm going to add no, maybe I'm going to leave it just like that. add a border strip on here, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to leave it literally that simple. You could add, like, we have the tokens that came with this. We have pinwheels. We have ribbon. Oh, you know what? Let's do that. So let's add a little strip of ribbon on here. I have an insane amount of these ribbons because I've gotten them in like different boxes and things over the years and different kits and things, and I have lots of these, but somehow I don't think I have this specific one. So what I want to do, figure out how long I need this to be. And then I'm going to run my tape and a nice line across the bottom here. And that can go right on top. You could tie a little bow and put on there. I am bow challenged, and you guys don't need to watch me do that, but you get the basic idea. Okay, now they're super easy. All right, next up we've got our bigger card. Okay, so this one, again, I've cut my front panel 1/4 inch smaller. And this one, we're going to pop up this panel, and then we're going to pop up other things too. All right, so this monster, I spent 25 minutes looking for today because I could not for the life of me figure out where I put it. This is foam tape from Picket Fence Studios that is available at Country Craft Creations. It is available white and black. It is just wide enough to go over the front of an A2 card, so it is 4 inches wide. It is massive, and somehow I managed to lose this in my craft room. So there you go. But we are going to use this. Whoops. Don't want to do that. A little backing piece I just tore by mistake. I don't want to do that. All right, so sticky side up. I'm gonna lay it on here and figure out how much of this I need. I think it needs to go about right there. I know in the store there are some non-stick scissors. These are some Crafter's Companion ones I've had forever that have kind of a non-stick coating on them, thankfully. And what's going to be really cool with this, with that gigantic piece of foam tape on here, is this will be unsquishable. Okay, so there's our first layer. Okay, I've got these 3 little pieces that I intended on kind of staggering. Okay, so these, oops, where's my pencil? I'm going to cut another piece of this off. Let's put this one down at the bottom. We're going to put this one up at the top. And then this one is going to go right here in the middle. Now this is one I absolutely would add gems to after the fact. but for right now, we're fine, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I am going to put this piece in the middle here so that it's going to brace up underneath, so that this middle part of this doesn't sink. And there you go. Super dimensional, super fun. And then it just needs some little gems, which I had a whole bunch of them over here, and I don't know where they went. Oh wait, hold on. There they are. So let's find, okay, there's some little red ones right there. That'll be perfect. We're going to put some red gems on here. Ah! Well, so much for the sticky back on that one. So I don't usually do that with my fingernails, but that's okay. All right, there you go. There's your next one. It's apparently upside down because of course it is. You know what? It's fine because I could just cut this off and add this as another panel on a bigger card, on a 5x7 card, and that would actually work perfectly. So we're going to pretend that that was not upside down. Okay, so A2 cards. We have 2 A2 cards left. Okay, so for our first one, we're going to do a 3-layer. Actually, both of these are going to be a 3-layer card. 3-layer on an A2 is the absolute simplest, most straightforward way to make a card. So my A2 card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The next layer is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, and then 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, and you're going to have that perfect little layer. We are going to add this little cut apart in the middle there. I'm going to put my first layer down flat. This time we are going the right direction. Okay. This one I could pop up. I think I will. So I was trying to decide, do I want to pop this one up or not? Okay. And since that's just plain old cardstock from the matching solids for the Hometown USA. And again, there we go. And then this one, I'm actually going to do flat. And I'm going to do this a little bit more towards the top because we're going to take this little hip hip hooray that is part of the border strip from the value bundle, and we're going to pop this up instead at the bottom. So just foam squares. Well, kind of. If I could put them on correctly, it would really help. Okay. Okay. And that's going to go right down here at the bottom. And there you go. You have another card. Okay. For our last one, this is our last A2 out of our card pack. I've got a long piece that's going to run top to bottom on the card. So it is 5.5 inches wide. I'm sorry, 5.5 inches high. It is 3.5 inches wide. So then this piece is also 5.5 inches tall, and this is 3.75 inches wide. So this one is going to go down flat, and it is going to run top to bottom on this card. We're just going to center this up. So we've got about 1/4 inch on each side. This one, I'm going to go ahead and add foam tape to the back. This foam tape is like insanely sticky. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so then this one, we're just going to center on top of our red stripe, like so. And then I've got a 3x4 mat here, and we're going to take and trim this down. I don't want the scoreboard, I want this. Okay, so this is a 3x4 cut apart. I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off here, 1/8 of an inch off here, and then repeat top and bottom. Okay. This one I'm going to do flat. And this one will pop up. Okay. All right, we'll just center that up, and there you go, another card. Now, let's just say you've got scraps. Or no, you know what, before we get to that one, because that one's going to be really fun, and I'm excited to show you how to do it. So we're going to do a slimline and a mini slimline. So I have my slimline card base prepared and ready to go, and I am now completely drawing a blank on my measurements on this. So this is going to be 7 by 8.5. We are going to score this at 3.5. Okay. When I am making my own card bases, I buy heavy cardstock. This is 110-pound, I think, Nina Solar White. The 100-pound Artisan works really well for card bases as well. But I have a bunch of these like cut ready to go, so I just pulled from my stash. So we're folding that in half. Okay, so the card itself is 8.5 by 3.5. Okay, our first layer is going to be 8.25 by 3.25. I'm going to put that down flat, like so. Okay, and then I've got 3 more of those little 2x2 cut aparts, or they're 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. But we are going to trim off like this weird white edge where clearly my trimmer is possessed. I swear I've had it like 4 months and it has warped again. I don't know why I'm surprised, but there you go. Okay, why do I have 3 of those? I don't know. All right, so this is the order these are going to go in. We are going to put these down flat on our little mats here. Maybe because that's not its mat. That was an extra piece that I don't know where it came from. It's probably the leftovers from when I cut the first one. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay. So we're putting these down flat. Okay, why is this one like a weird size? I don't know. We're just going to trim it. Okay. All right, so then these we're going to go ahead and pop up. So I've got that scrap. I'm going to cut myself 2 more pieces. Okay. I'm just going to kind of lay them out where I want them to get my spacing. Okay. And that is the fun thing with full-size Slimline cards, is you've got a lot of area to play with. But sometimes, depending on what you're using to build your cards, if you're doing stamps and whatnot, it can be kind of hard to fill that space. And honestly, most of my cards I do stamp, or I ink blend backgrounds. I don't make a ton of them like this anymore. I used to make lots of these like this when I was first kind of learning. And that's what makes like the Doodlebug stuff so great for these, is it's very easy to come up with a card because you've got lots of elements and pieces and parts that you can do that with. Okay, so next up is our mini Slimline. So again, 7 by 6.5. With our 7-inch at the top of the scoreboard, we're going to score this at 3.5 inches. Okay. Okay, so apparently I did bump the mouse and stop the camera when I did not mean to. So the mini Slimline card, this was the finished product. So this is, again, starting with a 6.5 by 7-inch piece of cardstock. You're going to score it at 3.5. The matting, so this first layer is 3.25 by 6.25. The red is 3 by 6, and then I just took 1/8 of an inch off of my 3 by 4 cut apart, added that with foam tape, added some of the little puffy hearts out of the stash of little gems and things on my desk, and added the happy birthday strip from the doodle tags. Okay, so that was that. There's our other Slimline, the full-size Slimline. I did get through all of this. I did not get to this one. Okay, and then of course the part that I was really excited to show you is what it did not record. So this technique is something I learned in a stamp class earlier this year, and it was just really cool. And what we did in that class was we took and just randomly stamped images on a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of paper. Okay, and it dawned on me that this would work really well when you have scraps of pattern paper left that you can make cards with, and it's very simple to make the cards. So this is 5.5 by 8.5. What we're going to do is cut a piece 12 inches, or I'm sorry, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. We're going to turn this, cut 2.25, We're going to cut 1/2 inch. And then that's our last piece. So started out 8.5 by 5.5. This is what we ended up with. Okay, this was for just normal A2 cards. And then we're going to take this little 2 1/4 by 4 inch piece. You're going to put it in on the diagonal, line your corners up, and cut that. Okay, so these are the pieces we have. So what I have, so this piece is on that card. This wider piece is on this card. These two are on this card, and the two diagonal are on this card. So out of that little 5.5 by 8.5 piece, I've got 4 cards. All you have to do is add the sentiment. It works great for the pattern paper leftovers, just like it does when you do the either background stamps or random stamping of a bunch of images, and they just come together really easy. They gave us a whole bunch of other options other than this one. This was just a nice, simple one that we could use with directional paper that would work with any scraps that you have. So that's that. And when the video starts back up, it's going to go through actually putting these together. But of course, cutting the paper ended up getting disappeared. All right, let's continue on. I sincerely hope this has been recording and I had just barely hit this by mistake, because otherwise I might cry. It looks like it. Okay, so I've got 4 card bases here that I'm going to go ahead and score. So this one is 5.5 by 8.5, so I'm going to score this one at 4 1/4. Okay, these are all 4 1/4 by 11, so I'm going to score them at 5.5. So I have top folding. Okay, so those are all scored. And I'm going to fold and burnish. Now, you are just going to die when you see how easy this is. Okay, all I need to do is adhere my pattern paper to the corners. I'm taking my 2 little diagonal pieces, and opposite sides, and then all we need is a sentiment in the middle. So I've got happy birthday to you right here. I'm going to cut that little tail off, and I can put that right in the middle, and you have a clean and simple, very easy card that is perfectly flat that you can throw in the mail. Okay, our next one, we're going to take these 2 pieces, and again, it is as simple as, in fact, you know what, we're going to use the star side on this one. Again, we're just going to put this down here at the bottom. we're going to put this little piece up above, and we're going to space it out about 1/8 of an inch, and then we just need another sentiment on here. So this one, I think I'm going to use, just because. You could add some gems if you wanted to. I think we're fine just like that. So then these two, the wider one, we're just going to run down the center. The narrower one, we're going to put down the side. Literally that easy. So when you are down to scraps, this is just a very, very simple way to clear out your scraps, make some cards. Let's put it about right there. That are cute and simple, and there you go. This one we're going to center, and again I'm going to come back to my little and there we go. This one, let's do thinking of you down here. If you want to add more to them, you can, but out of that little scrap of paper, we just got 4 very easy cards. Okay, so now we've got all these cards. What are we going to do with them? Well, lucky for you, I have a box that we are going to make that's very simple to put all of our little cards in, and I have sized it where it will hold the Slimline cards, as well as a 5x7, which we did not make a 5x7, but if you did a 5x7 card, it would hold that as well. So I have a piece of the 100-pound white artisan cardstock. It is 10.5 by 10 3/4. Hold on, I need to find my notebook. It has my scoring written down. There it is. Okay. All right. So we are going to start on the 10 3/4 side. We are going to score at 1 inch, and we are going to score at 9 3/4. Okay. We're going to turn it to the 10.5 side, and we're going to score at 5 1/4. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it is. Okay. 5 1/4 and 6 1/4. Okay. We also have a second piece that is 5 by 8 3/4 with the 5 inch at the top. We are going to score at 1 inch and 2 inches. Okay? It is that easy. Okay, so you've got your score lines here. We are going to cut, and you're going to cut on this outside edge of the score line, and then we're going to take a little wedge out, top and bottom. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. We're going to fold and burnish. There's my bone folder. So fold the tabs in, fold this up, and then I am going to mark. Basically we want to take, well, you can leave this corner on here if you want to, or you can cut it off. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. But before I do that, while this is still flat, we want to go ahead and mat. So this is going to be our lid. So I'm going to miter. And then fold and burnish. Okay. And this is going to go on the outside of the taller half. Or you can do it to the inside, because apparently I just put the glue on the wrong side. Because it's been a long day. That's all I'm going to say. So I am going to put this to the inside and just line it up with the top, and that will be fine. Okay, so for matting, you're going to want to mat here, here. Basically, you don't have to mat this bottom piece if you don't want to. And then these pieces, the taller of the two outside pieces, because when this is folded together, that tab's going to go in, the shorter side is going to go in, like so. Okay? So, matting. Let's see here. What do we want to put on here? This one fit. They're going to make it fit. So, this is going to be 8 5/8. And then I'm going to cut it to 1 inch there. And then I am going to take it down to 7/8, and I'm going to put that on my top. Okay, let me figure out which other paper we're matting with, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my pieces cut for this. So on the top of the closure, I'm going to go ahead and use this little border strip. So this is 7/8 by 8 5/8. Because it's just too cute and I have to use it. So typically when matting something like this, I'm going 1/8 of an inch smaller than my whatever my page width is. I know what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go ahead and round my corners here. So this is 8 3/4 by 3. So I did 2 7/8 by 8 5/8 of my stripe. Okay. I am going to do a magnet to close this off. And it doesn't need to be too big. It's just to keep it from like flopping around. So I'm going to go ahead and add that on. Okay. So my piece that's going to go on there, is the same size as this, so 2 7/8 by 8 5/8. Okay. On this, I went ahead 8 5/8 and 2 5/8. I'm not going to mat all the way down in because it's not necessary. So I just went ahead and did this the same size just to simplify things. Okay. Now, this is going to fold up like so. So I'm going to get the backing off of this. Oh, I hope I didn't do that too far up. Nope, we're good. Here we go. All right. Okay, so for the front here, I have this cute little paper, and this one is 8 5/8 by 4 1/8. So there's that one. For my sides, I've got my little stars here. And these are both 5 1/8 by 7/8. Those are going to go on here. And then our back piece is going to be 5 1/8 by 8 5/8. And for that, I'm going to use the cute little balloons. Okay. Now, if you are using directional papers to mat this, make sure you're kind of turning it, and if you have to kind of fold it up to see, okay, you know, which way does this need to go? So this is like, here's the front, this needs to go this way. This is on the back, so it needs to go the other way. This is on this little top piece, so it needs to go that way. By all means, go ahead and do that. It's not a big deal. You can move it around however you want, whatever makes it easiest for you to put it together. Okay, so I've got glue on my shorter tab, making sure my little tab is folded in. And then this is just going to go until you hit your score line, and then this will just close down over the top of it. Okay, same thing on the other side. Okay, there you go. There's your card box. It is that easy. Okay, so then you can decorate this up however you would like. I think I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use that little guy there. So it kind of looks like on an envelope. Let's see what pieces, parts I've got over here. So I've got mini icons. I've got an icon strip. So I can put those on there. I can add the cute little bicycle. If I can get him off. Oh my gosh, he's got balloons. How stinking cute is that? So he's going to go down here like so. I'm going to do this like this and like this. And then I'm going to put that little hat with it. Okay. Need something right there. How about, oh, look at this, we've got those, just like that. All right, so there we go. Let me open this up, and your Slimline fits, your mini slim fits, your A2s fit, your whole little stack of Doodlebug cards with their envelopes will fit. That little one needs to kind of come down in here. Well, they mostly fit. We got really dimensional on a couple of these. So this one is not cooperating, but you could always adjust the size of this and that would be fine. It's not good. It'd be super easy to do. Something is in the way here. But there you go. So hopefully you guys learned something from this. Hopefully I wasn't too horribly disjointed. It's been a long week and it's been a long day, and I've been trying to get this together literally all day long, and it's just been one of those days. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. I've got one more project coming with Hometown USA, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to get that up in the next couple days. Thanks for watching. Bye!